First of all, it was a very, very, very impressive performance. I mean, Edson Barboza is no fucking joke and notoriously difficult to take down. Even Khabib struggled getting him down the early parts of the first round, but you got him down quick.
Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate that, especially how technical my wrestling can get. I just feel like Edson was really strong. He was probably the strongest guy that I've ever faced. Physically, his body is just it moved a little bit different, but technically I just had the aspect there, and when you add those two things up, I'm equally as strong. You know, I'm just gonna blow him out the water.
Well, he's just a bundle of fast twitch muscle fiber, man, and that dude. I mean, people. They'll see the Khabib fight and they'll see this fight with you. They might not understand how good that guy really is. He's very, very good.
He's a beast, and he's going to come back and he's going to knock some people out.
For sure.
He's only going to get better from here, I think.
Yeah.
It's the styles make the fights too. And me, I feel like I can fight any style. That was my number one goal when I got into this sport, just to be the most well-rounded, complete fighter that there is. And I feel like I can take advantage of like some of his things that he's not getting good at, but he's gonna get better at him. He's gonna be back. He's a beast.
Well, that focus and that mindset of being well-rounded was very obvious in that fight. I was very impressed by the fact you fight just as good southpaw as you do orthodox. You switch up easily.
I've only been going southpaw for maybe the past year and a half or so, and just kind of getting a feeler for it down. But I feel like that could be one of the, when you listen to a lot of the great fighters in the past, they talk about a right-handed southpaw. There's so many advantages that can be there, and it's just always great to be able to switch up and change timings, especially when you got a guy that's trying to time you like Edson.
Because they say that they say that if you work on the opposite side, it actually makes the other side better.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit easier when you switch back.
Yeah,
and I've noticed that. I mean, there's still some kinks and twists that I want to kind of get out of there. You see. I study a lot of people. I study a lot of switch fighters, especially in MMA. Recently, I want to say about the last 2 years, guys have been doing it more often, but some guys do it better than others. I try and get the perfect mix,
Well, some guys do it, but there's a twist, right? Like Wonder Boy does it, but when Wonder Boy does it, you know that the front leg is coming.
Yeah.
And then he can fight any style. I mean, he could fight left or right. But when he switches, when he goes right, you know that front leg side kick's coming, that front leg roundhouse kick is coming, and then when he stands orthodox, he's much more likely to throw a punch or, maybe even spin. He mixes it up, but he's limited maybe in the way he attacks.
The blending of it, I think. Wonder Boy is one of those guys that his switches are like really, you can see him coming. He makes them really pronounced. They're big switches, and the attacks that are coming. There's certain guys like T.J. Dillashaw who's great at mixing it up completely.
Right.
Where I feel like he doesn't sit down on his punches too much, or he gets in spots where he can get clipped in between those with your feet off the ground. So I try and find the happy medium between those two, switching up too much and being able to make those hard switches too.
Well, TJ's really been doing that style for just like 3 or 4 years now since he's been with Bang. Maybe it was about, I want to say 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, probably something like that. It takes some time to get used to it, get used to the timing and everything. And that's one of the things with me. Like, I try and be the most consistent guy that there is out there. So the more consistently I'm getting in there, the more I'm seeing things coming. I'm reading the angles and getting a lot of different looks, a lot of different bodies being thrown at me. So all that adds up to experience, and it's only going to get better from there. Yeah,
it's also one of those things. When you're 25 years old, you still are like realistically 5 years away from your athletic prime.
Yeah, I keep that. I keep that in the back of my mind sometimes because you obviously don't want to overwork the body too much. You don't want to burn out. But yeah, I think it's just staying consistent and staying healthy. As long as I'm healthy through it, I got through that fight, no serious damages at all, and that's the most important thing. Is just staying healthy when I'm young, and then tailing back when I'm starting to get more damages or more injuries. But I do a great job of keeping my body healthy, I think, more than anything.
What do you like when you're in? I know Robert Follis was your coach for quite a long time, and we both miss him. I'm sure you were very close with him. He was such a great guy.
Yeah.
Was he the guy that did he sort of map out your training program when you were in camp, or?
I had we kind of structured it, or at least I try and structure it like a full team aspect. Rob was kind of like, I think of it like a race car. I'm the race car itself, But Rob's was like the head driver. You know, Rob was telling me where to go, what to do. Dewey was kind of like my horsepower.
Cooper.
Dewey Cooper. I mean, phenomenal striking coach. If you ever,
fantastic fighter.
With him, he was a smaller heavyweight, but he would fight giant guys like Peter Arts. And to do that, you gotta, you look at him. He's only about 220. 6'1" maybe. He's fighting 6'7", 300-pound guys. So he has to be extra technical in there, not rely on his speed and power. That's why I think he makes such a great coach, and he pushes me through it. But I had another guy I've been working with, Corey Goodwin, for the last 4 or 5 years since I've been out in Vegas. He's kind of like the mechanic. He keeps my body fresh and going.
Is he your strength and conditioning guy?
Yeah, but we call it that, but what we do is a lot different than strength and conditioning. It's not a lot of. I don't lift any weights. I don't. And when people see, I haven't touched a weight since college.
Wow.
The only time I did was when I went over and I started working with the UFC PI guys a little bit. They wanted me to touch weights, but it's just not a good fit for me.
Are you doing? What are you doing? Plyometrics? Are you doing?
He'd have to explain it to you more. That's his. That's what he does. He worked through Exos for a long time, so he took a lot of their physiology
what is that?
Their
What'd you say?
Exos.
What's Exos?
I think they just signed a deal with the UFC too. A lot of guys been going over, and they're a big strength and conditioning program.
Oh,
they got a big facility down in Arizona, but they used to be based out of Vegas. So he worked for them, where he gets a lot of his training philosophies and stuff from. But it's not any weightlifting.
Is it calisthenics, chin-ups,
a lot of calisthenics,
push-ups?
a lot of movement, we work a lot of the joints, especially, where he overextends my joints, he pushes them past the limit, and then we work out from there. So it's not very heavy lifting. It's maybe 15 pounds.
What do you mean by pushing them past the limit? Like hyperextend it?
I mean,
like he pulls it almost like you get an armbar?
So one of the things we do is he takes a band and he stretches it out so it really pulls my shoulder. And I was telling you, I very rarely have shoulder problems, and I think a large reason he pulls it all the way out, kind of out the socket, and then we work it out from there. To build strength from those little muscles, which I feel like is that's the part where I get my true strength from. I do that, a lot of yoga, a lot of things that just all the strength comes from within me, not lifting weights or anything.
How often you do